All right. Welcome back, folks. It is just about time for Game 2. Not much of a break for these guys between Game 1 and Game 2. We were just treated to a very thrilling 67-65 victory for the Colonials. We'll have to see if they can repeat it here in Game 2. Jordan, I have a question for you, my man.
What is that?
We saw kind of how this first game shook out. Do you think we'll see RMU repeat with another win here in Game 2? Did you like enough what you saw?
I'd say if they're going to come away with a win in this one, Alex, it's going to be another close one. Cross seems to be walking a little bit better here, and that's going to be the big question here, is how is Elijah Cross? If he comes back and he's good, I think they're going to get it. But I've also seen RMU in their last home stretch here kind of flatten out here in their second game. They struggled in the second game with keeping energy. So
yeah, and the thing with energy, especially after a game of basketball, to have to come back after 5 minutes and play a second full game, I'd imagine we're going to see a lot of names from both teams who we didn't see a whole lot of in Game 1 make an appearance in Game 2 here just to make sure players are rested.
Yeah, exhaustion is going to be a big factor for both of these guys. And it's going to be a test of, I guess, strength and energy for both of these guys, as they're going to be fighting here, RMU to get their second win and Xavier to try and stop this losing streak that they're on of losing 2 close games in a row, one to Wright State and today to RMU.
Yeah, the 2 losses for a combined 3 points, am I right?
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Yeah.
That's got to be a killer. But it's also got to light a fire in you to think that you come that close 2 times only to have it thrown away. This time you got to be on top of your game.
And they are not wasting any time. The ref's telling people to stop warming up and get ready to play. So let's see. Who do we have on the court for RMU? It's going to be Jaden Bristol, Chris Charles, Marquise Scott Ford, Mari Fontaine, and they're missing a 5th. I think it might be Keith Franklin stepping onto the floor here. Yeah, it will be Keith Franklin. On the other side, it'll be Kianga, Goldsberry, looks like Bielski. What's that? What's his name? I'm sorry. Madelon, and a player who hasn't been on the floor much today, Alex Shirker, will be the 5 for Xavier. Oh, sorry. DeJuan Williams is in. Keith Franklin is off for the Colonials to start this one.
And it's going to be Bristol starting with the ball here. He's going to pass it back to Bristol from Fontaine. Just going to think about it. Going to stick to the outside. Back out to Fontaine. Fontaine for the deep 3. Right off the rim. It's going to be gathered by Goldsberry.
Not a great start there for the Colonials. A good look, just couldn't get it to go.
Madelon catches the pass from Goldsberry. Out to Kianga. Bristol throwing a block. Kianga almost loses it, gathers himself. Back into 13, Shirker. Back out to Bileski. Back into Shirker. Shirker goes for the short shot. Gets the 2. First points of the series for him, and Xavier takes the lead. Charles out here with the ball.
An early 2-0 lead here for the Musketeers. Very different from the first game, but Chris Charles will put that one home to make it 2-2. Tight one so far.
Yeah, nice quick answer by RMU. Because Goldberry's going to dribble it. Back out to Bileski. Bileski's going to carry it. Back out. Take the 3. Off the rim, and it's going to hit off the supporting beam above the net. And that's going to be out of bounds. So Fontaine's going to throw it into Bristol for RMU.
One thing we have not seen a whole lot of, particularly in that second half, was a lot of play through the middle part of the post, kind of that intermediate area between the paint and 3-point line. We'll have to see if there's a bit more of that here from RMU, or if they're content sticking close to the net or quite a far ways away, as RMU will lay that one in and make it 4-2.
Yeah, and it seems like right now they're going to bring it right to the net. Charles picking up his 4th point, his second shot. And Williams swats it out, and they're going to say he made contact there on Goldsberry and pick up his first foul of the game. Goldsberry for Xavier is going to throw it in here as they maintain possession. Throw it into Madelon. Madelon's going to once again do the step back, and he's going to catch the edge of the court, and it's going to be out of bounds. Turnover for Xavier.
That is the second time this afternoon we've seen Madelon catch a pass, try and do that step back, and end up just a hair out of bounds.
Yeah, it's got to be a tough break for him. Bristol's got the ball here, doing some fancy dribble work. He's going to pass it to Fontaine. Fontaine's going to stand there and do a little bit of prospecting. He's going to dribble it, lose it a little bit, pass it across, and they are going to call Marquise Scott Ford for the travel there. Tough break for RMU. Scott Ford was wide open there, just missed a dribble.
Yeah, and he was fully ready to try and drive the lane there, so probably a fortunate break for the Musketeers.
Yeah, RMU's currently up 4-2. Goldsbury has possession for Xavier. Xavier players are going to shift around a little bit here. Goldsbury's commanding the court, throwing orders. Circa's going to throw a lock. It's going to go in to Madeline. He's going to miss it.
Good
Fontaine's going to get the rebound. Yeah. He's going to go inside to Scott Ford. He's going to throw it back out to Williams, out to Bristol. Bristol's going to fake him out and take the short two. He's going to miss it. As Xavier brings themselves back down to the court here. It's going to go full court pass to Kionga. Kionga's going to go for a deep three, and that is nothing but net. All three for him. As RMU throws it back in, Bristol comes back down the court to try and answer here. Pass to Charles. Charles dribbling, taking orders from the coach here. A little bit of fancy work. Juke him out here. Pass it off to Bristol. Bristol
gave it over to Williams, and I don't think he was exactly expecting that ball to come to him, so it ends up right back to Bristol.
No, he was not. Bristol going to fake him out a little bit here, putting in the fancy footwork. And that's Fontaine's deep, and it just bounces in and out. Another tough break for RMU as Goldsbury for Xavier brings it back down the court quick and fast. He's going to pass it out, and it's going to be right off the net on a shot by Shirker. Goldsbury gets the ball back. Goldsbury's going to take a deep three. You saw Shirker try to run in there and get that rebound.
Yeah.
As it goes back to Bristol. Charles going in for the layup. And they're going to say it was out on Williams of RMU, and it's going to be Xavier ball.
Much more, I don't necessarily want to say sloppy, but the bounces haven't been there the way they were at the start of game one, and that might be a fatigue thing, as we're 4 minutes in, and there's only been 4 buckets between the two teams.
Yeah, 5-4. It was about 14-3 the last time we were at this point in the first game. It goes to Kionga. Kionga's going to pack it back to Goldsbury. Goldsbury's going to pass it into Madeline. Shirker's going to take it. He's going to throw it cross. Deep three off the net back to Kionga.
Xavier's been doing a really good job of getting offensive rebounds so far in the early going of game two.
Yeah, they have been excellent at catching their rebounds here and extending these plays. Bristol tries to slap it out of there. Kionga kind of goes for a little bit of a flop there.
They're going to say that ball's going to go back to Xavier off the push from Chris Charles, and I don't think he can really believe it.
Yeah, he looked a little shocked on that one. Xavier's going to make some changes here. Goldsbury's coming off. Madelon's coming off, and replacing them is Jones, and reliable for them in the first game, Eusebi, as he comes back in.
Some conversation there between the coach and the players trying to get ready for this. Shirker with it. Feeds it over to Eusebi.
Back out to Martin. Eusebi with a deep three, and he just airballs it. As RMU's going to get possession back, and it's going to go to Charles here.
Yeah,
Charles,
some of the folks with the hot hands haven't quite been able to net any points here in this one, but Williams puts that rebound up and in, and it'll be 6-5 RMU.
Martin's got it here for Xavier. Crosses midcourt. Passes it out to Bolesky. Bolesky covered by Bristol. Back out to Martin. Martin into Shirker. Shirker takes the shot, bounces around and out. This goes to Scott Ford. Scott Ford's going to pass it out, and it's going to get blocked by Gerard Jones there, and it's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to be RMU ball.
Nice little play there to force Xavier back on transition as the deep shot there from RMU doesn't go, but Scott Ford puts home the rebound.
And I don't think they were expecting RMU to come in for that rebound, as number 9 was just kind of standing under there waiting for it. And Scott Ford kind of came out of nowhere and got it. Number 9's going to go inside. Tough pass blocked by Bristol. Back out to Scott Ford. Scott Ford's going to head to the rim. And a nice over-the-back layup. Scott Ford has just put up another 2 points.
And that's going to be a timeout for the Musketeers. A nice little hot streak going there for the Colonials before that timeout. It took them a little bit to get going in this game too, but they seem to have found their rhythm now.
Yeah, and it seems like right now it's going to be Scott Ford as the big name for RMU. Getting those rebounds, getting the points, as the team seems see a few smiles coming on down there as they've got the lead up to 5 again now. We've seen the RMU build a lead in the first half of the first game and then blow it away in the second half. We'll see if they're able to build up this lead or if it's going to stay close for the rest of this game, as we're only 6 minutes and 10 seconds into this one.
And something you said earlier that I'd like to point on, you're saying that you're getting a lot of points lately from Marquise Scott Ford. I think that's a lot of because of some of the lineup changes they've had to make here for Game 2. Both Elijah Cross and David Solomon both had different moments of that Game 1 where they got banged up a little bit. So they're on the bench right now probably trying to rest up, get healthy in case they're needed later in the game. But those 2 absences, both at the guard position, has brought in Jaden Bristol to start Game 2 at the point, and Marquise Scott Ford to start at the shooting guard spot.
Yeah, and a big thing to note, Scott Ford didn't have any points in the first game, so he's kind of taken the replay spot of Solomon here.
He was pretty good off the boards, though. I know he had a number of rebounds, especially in that second half when it was coming down to the wire there for the Colonials in that Game 1.
Martin here with the ball for Xavier. He's going to make an inside pass, almost reached in by RMU. Eusebi's going to take the deep 3, and that is good. 3 points for Eusebi here, his first points of the game.
He's got a really nice lock on where to go on those 3-point shots lately. He's made more than he's missed of them so far here today.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful arc on those. Bristol faking out for the 3. Out to Williams. Williams going to back it up a little bit here. Bring it in. He's going to try and pass it deep. Gets blocked by Jones. Back out to Eusebi. And the ball gets tipped away by Charles. Back out to Martin. Just misses it. Bristol recovers it. And they're going to call a foul on number 10 of Xavier, Connor Madelon.
And there's a couple folks in the stands there who got to get up nice, close and personal with Jaden Bristol as he ended up flying into the stands and sitting right next to him.
Yeah, he got to take a little seat on that one. And it looks like RMU's Jesper Johnson
yeah,
is going to take the inbound.
Looks like he is subbed in for Fontaine.
Bristol just crosses midcourt here. He's going to pass it off to Scott Ford. Scott Ford's on the outside. He's going to try to bring it in. And it gets ripped out by, I'm thinking, number 2, Bolesky, but they're going to draw a foul on it once again.
And Scott Ford will go to the line.
Scott Ford trying to pick up some more points here as he's the RMU leader right now. Extend this lead of 2 to 3.
Looks like Goodman is subbing in here for Jared Jones. Definitely a closer game here in Game 2 than the start of Game 1. Does RMU open up that massive lead early to start Game 1?
Yeah. Big time lead for them here, and Scott Ford just misses it there as it's going to be rebounded by Xavier, and Martin's going to have it. Eusebi, he's going to pass it inside to Shirker. Shirker's going to take the short shot. RMU gets the rebound. Thrown it deep to Williams, and they're going to call a foul on number 13, Alex Shirker.
I know it was a foul, but that was a pretty good effort there from Alex Shirker to not only, after he missed the shot down on this end, to hunt down that ball on the far end. Obviously, don't never really want to take a foul, but that was a good foul to take because that probably would have been a pretty easy lay-in for Williams when he received that long pass.
Yeah, and now you're going to force him to the line, something that some of the RMU players have been struggling a little bit with today. And speak of the devil, it's come back. As once again, it bounces back and out. We saw Scott Ford shoot earlier here, and he missed his second one.
Hopefully Williams will make this one here.
And Williams misses his second one. As RMU is now 1 of 4 from the free throw line. Goes out to Bolesky. Bolesky passes back to Martin.
You got to imagine that's something that Coach Williams is going to be talking to him about at the half or during the next timeout, because that's just leaving free points on the board.
Yeah, it is not something you want to do. Free throws are an easy gimme and has not been for RMU lately. Goodman's going to take the deep three, and it's going to hit off the top of the backboard as he threw it a little high.
Chris Charles tried going behind the back, but where his hand went to catch the ball and where the ball was were two different places, and it nearly ends up hitting the timekeeper.
Yeah, Goodman was able to apply pretty good pressure to them and force Charles to lose possession there, and it's going to be Xavier ball. Back to Martin here. He's going to throw it out to Goodman. Back to Martin. Back to Goodman. Goodman for a deep three. And he's going to airball it to Scott Ford. Scott Ford's going to try and run it in here. Take a far layup, and he's going to get it here. Scott Ford once again.
He's really reveling in this this extended time on the floor. We didn't see a ton of him in game one, but he's making his presence felt here in game two.
Out to Goodman, out to Bolesky, back to Martin. Martin's going to take the short jumper, and he's going to airball it. And Bolesky's going to keep it in. Charles pokes it away, back to Yusebi.
There are people flying everywhere right now.
Bristol applying lots of pressure to Martin right now. And they are going to say it is out on Xavier as the pass to Goodman goes wide. That was quite the few seconds there of basketball.
Yeah,
as players were flying everywhere. The ball was going all over the place. A desperate save by Xavier to throw back in between the legs.
Looks like the Musketeers have made 3 subs there. Most notably, it looks like Kiyonga's back out there, as is Goldsberry and Yusebi. Someone who I don't think we've seen a ton of today is Jackson Gepfert, but he's also on the floor now for the Musketeers.
Yeah, this may be Gepfert's first few minutes of the 2 games, and they're applying massive pressure right now to RMU. And RMU's going to have to call a timeout on that one, as there was no place for Charles to go and breathe on that one.
I think Charles was a little frustrated because I think he had found a way out right as the timeout was called, but from that distance, it's hard to tell where people are going.
Yeah. And what do you think so far? I've seen pretty close by both teams. I would say overall Xavier being maybe a little bit more spread out and team-worthy wise, but RMU has just been able to answer. Xavier's had the shots, but they just haven't been able to connect.
One thing I think with this game is that this is probably a closer representation of the 2 skill levels of these teams than the way game 1 started. And that's not to say RMU was not as good as we thought they were, but they were just incredibly hot to start game 1. And I think we were expecting a much closer contest throughout in that one. So to see this game only be 13-8 midway through the first half, I think makes a little bit more sense with how close these teams were, not only in the standings, but just kind of in their playing style.
Yeah, and you've got to think, these teams, RMU's had been practicing on this court all year. With club basketball, you don't know where you're going to be playing. As Scott Ford took a deep 3 and just airballs it. But you don't know where these teams are going to be playing. Xavier, this is their first time playing on this court this year. So it took a little bit of time to adjust, and it showed. RMU blew them out essentially in the first half. And once they got adjusted here, it's been tight.
Absolutely. Goldsberry is going to bring it in here for the Musketeers.
And Yusebi going to take a deep 3. He's going to brick it here. Out to Bolesky. Charles able to knock it loose. Passes it to Williams. Bristol's going to take it back. Down court, out pass to Charles. Charles going to take it out, take a short pass. And he's going to miss it. Out to Goldsberry. He's going to get the rebound. Goldsberry tries to pass it into Eusebi, and it just bounces off of his chest.
And
He can't believe he missed that one.
That's the second time I've seen Eusebi a little distraught with a ball that gets past him. I remember he had one off the fingertips earlier where he had a similar reaction. It's anytime that ball gets by him, you can just tell that he knows that he should have had it, and you see it in his expression.
And it looked like he was going to have an easy 2 there, too, if he was able to maintain possession.
I think you're right, and I think that's probably why he was so annoyed at himself for missing that ball. As a deep 3 goes up and goes in, Jaden Bristol, big time 3 there.
Big time, bounces off the rim and rolls back in. Xavier looking to answer here with Goldsberry. Out to Gefferk. Bristol taking the shot, and it goes up and back out. Charles with the ball here.
That was a big rebound there from Williams, and it's made the coach very happy as the lane on the other end doesn't quite go, nor does the second attempt.
As it was Desperate Johnson, and then Charles, and then back to Charles on the floor. And I think they're going to call it RMU being on the floor, and they're going to turn the ball over and give it to Xavier. And the ref and the coach are going to have a little chuckle conversation about that one.
You know, they're starting to talk about what's a catch, and it's reminding me of the NFL a little bit. Because they were talking about whether the guy on the floor had possession of the ball or not when they tried calling the timeout.
Yeah, I hope none of the Packers fans are watching this one. Or should I say Cowboys, actually.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't be liking this. As RMU has possession here with Scott Ford. Scott Ford out to Williams. Williams, deep throw to Bristol. Bristol doing a spin move here. He's going to take a 3. Off the rim, rebound by Goldsberry. Goldsberry's been showing up a lot for these rebounds for Xavier. He's going to bring it in. He's going to go for the 2, and he is going to get called. He's going to get the 2 here. They're going to call it on Bristol.
And looks like it'll send Goldsberry to the line for his first foul shots of the game, I believe.
I think so, and it's going to be Goldsberry's potential first points of the game here, as nobody's really been scoring here in the last couple minutes. It's been a lot of bringing it down, throwing it around a little bit, bounces off the rim. The other team gets the rebound. Goldsberry going to take his second shot here. And it's in, and that's 1 point right there. 16-9 RMU as Goldsberry picks up his first points of the game. Bristol here with the ball after taking the inbound. Bristol with a pass out to Charles. Charles trying to make a full court pass that's intercepted by Goldsberry. Goldsberry's just going to take it himself. He's going to take it to the rim, and he misses a layup. Just bounces out. Scott Ford going to get the rebound here, but that was
a great effort from Goldsberry to even have the opportunity, but couldn't quite capitalize on the turnover he had generated.
Let's see if he can redeem himself here. He's going to run back in, and an easy layup. Easy 2 pickup there by Goldsberry. Bristol has the ball for RMU once again. As he crosses midcourt. Collins for a block. Scott Ford back to Bristol. Bristol's going to pass it inside to Charles. And they're going to call a foul on Bolesky there for the reach-in.
That was a nice pass there from Bristol. He got real low and kind of, I don't want to say it was like a line drive because it was a bounce pass, but he kept that to where only his guy could get it.
Yeah, there was no way anybody else was going to get to it besides him. So it was a great pass and almost a great play, other than the reach-in by Xavier's number 2.
Shirker stepping back onto the court now for the Musketeers as Bristol will feed it to Charles for the lay-in. Nice little play there off the inbound from the Colonials.
Back out to Goldsberry. Out to Geffert. Geffert's going to turn it over to Charles. Charles is going to bring it back down the court. He's going to pass it out. And deep 3 off the rim by Desper Johnson. Kayonga's got the ball for Xavier here. He's fighting off Bristol. Passing to Eusebi. Eusebi's going to try and throw up the 2. And they're going to call the foul on Desper Johnson. And Eusebi's going to head to the line. Oh, They called it on Bristol.
How did that? Okay, I mean, sure, I guess, but
I don't think.
I didn't realize he was the one who made contact with him.
I don't think he ever even touched him on the play. That's kind of a surprising call for me. Xavier's up here for his first throw. And it bounces around and in. Cutting the lead to 5 for Xavier. And Xavier's going to check in. I'm not sure who this is. This is his first minute of play here in these two games. I'll have to catch a jersey number on the way back down as Xavier takes his second shot here. It is up and back and out.
That is number 6, Harry Frieda. That is indeed his first action of the game for the Musketeers.
RMU passes it to Charles. Charles out to Bristol. Thankfully, Scott Ford was there to gather it off the missed pass. Scott Ford going to dribble around. He's going to bring it in. Lose it a little bit. Pass it back out to Williams. Williams loses it. And they're going to call it a kick on Xavier. And it is going to be RMU's ball.
Yeah, I know they called it a kick, but that seemed less like a kick from Xavier and more of Williams saying, I'm going to pass this ball right off your foot.
Yeah, it seemed more like that than a kick, but Scott Ford's going to go for that deep shot. He gets his own rebound.
And puts it in, making the nice play from Williams to even generate that inbound. Completely worth it for RMU.
It looks like Scott Ford's turning into the David Solomon of RMU's first game as he's got 9 points so far in the first 14 minutes. Desperate Juniors pushing the pressure. And Frieda unable to get that layup as Williams got the rebound. Charles passing it to Bristol. Bristol's going to bring it across line, pass it behind his back, out to Desperate Jr., out to Williams.
And a big-time shot from Charles, big-time 3. Desperate Johnson fed it to him, and Charles just buried it. And we're going to get a timeout on the floor here. I got to imagine that's from the Musketeers after that big-time 3.
It's got to be, as RMU just built their lead up to 10 here. If you're
So, with it being a 10-point game, 5.5 to go in the first half, I think if you're Coach Taylor Williams for RMU, you've got to be really happy with how this game has started, especially without having Solomon or Cross on the floor at any point so far in this second game.
Yeah, RMU seemed to be able to answer pretty well with Scott Ford and Charles putting up all the points for RMU. And Desperate Johnson has kind of showed up here as a freshman for RMU, freshman center. He hasn't been putting up any points, but he has been setting up the shots for these guys. As he seems to be making himself a little bit of a name here in this game.
Yeah, his ball movement has been really sharp so far in this first half. Although, that's been kind of the hallmark of whenever the Colonials' offense is moving pretty well, it's been a lot of the time because they're finding each other, finding those easy open passes. And we've seen a good bit of that here through the past couple minutes.
And speaking of Johnson, RMU switched him out with Kent here.
I believe that is
his first few minutes of the game.
That is indeed Kent's first few minutes of the game.
Bristol here with the ball with a feed from Fontaine. Bristol moving around, back to Fontaine, feeding it into Williams. Across the court to Kent. Kent's for the 3, and he's just a little too far back.
The entire RMU bench got up because they thought he had the open look, and it was going to be a big-time 3 from Kent, and it bounced right off the top of the net, or off the top of the backboard.
Tough break for them.
One thing I've noticed, because Jordan, you and I both have been to our fair share of either professional or NCBBA basketball games. The refs have been a lot more liberal on how far coaches can wander onto the court than in those games.
Yeah, these guys are not even allowed to really touch the court much at all, as Frieda kind of just passes it straight to Johnson.
Yeah, I would say it was a turnover or a steal from Desperate Johnson, but it was more of just Frieda passed it directly to him.
Charles gets swarmed, and they're going to call foul on them for that.
They're saying I think that was called on Frieda.
Charles going to take the inbound here. Hasn't been very many points scored in these last couple minutes, as it is still 23-13. Kind of going on a dry spout here for both teams.
Yeah, for context, at the end of game one, the two teams had put up 72 points. With only 4.5 to go in this half, they've only put up 36, only half of that.
As Charles has the ball, Charles is going to head to the hoop. And he's going to get a contested layup there. Gets himself over 10. He's got 11 in the game. Goldsberry with the ball here, trying to answer. Takes a few steps back here. Eusebi throws, Kionga throws a block. Out to Kionga. Looking for a play here. Out to Goldsberry. Back in to Shurker. Shurker takes the short jumper. He airballs it. Nice rebound catch by Madeline as he gets the easy layup. Fontaine for RMU with the ball here. A pass to Johnson. Back to Fontaine. Fontaine with a deep three. And just off the hoop. Goldsberry gets the rebound. He is heading for the hoop. Up, contested, and in.
Desperate Johnson got a hand on the ball, but it wasn't enough to stop it from going in. 25-17 the score currently with 3:20-ish to go on the clock.
Yeah, no sir. Goldsberry wanted that ball in the hoop, and he was going to do it no matter what. Another deep three from Kenst, as it's short this time. Another rebound by Goldsberry as he is racking them up in this game. He's bringing it to the hoop. And they're going to call a foul on 12, but his back was turned. He didn't even know Goldsberry was coming.
And I think the coach is saying that exact thing that you just saw there, Jordan. Everyone's a little confused on how that was a penalty because Williams didn't even see it coming.
Yeah, he had his back turned on him. I guess you don't have to be facing a guy to get a blocking foul. As Goldsberry's going to take his first free throw, and he makes that one.
I got to say, this is completely unrelated, but there was a wicked chill that just came into this hallway. I don't know where it came from, but I am now suddenly quite cold.
Maybe there's a ghost.
Maybe it's the ghost of half our production crew who had to go at 5 o'clock today.
Yeah, we are running with quite the skeleton crew today in this second game. Goldsberry going to take his second throw here. Hopefully cut this down to 6. And he makes it.
Just like that. It's a pretty tight game once again. So, yeah, folks, quick update. We do apologize if anything seems a little off between games 1 and game 2. We had 5 people helping with this in game 1. We only have 3 for game 2. So some of us are either calling or doing camera work at the same time. So it's can be a little bit much, but right there, a nice little play there for, I believe, was that Charles who put that in?
Yeah, and once again, Kent's is not afraid to take these threes. He's taken 3. Neither of them have gone in, but it set up Charles there with a pretty easy short layup. As Johnson's going down the court, he gets blocked by Goldsberry. Kenst misses the layup, and they're going to say it was out on Fontaine, and it is Xavier ball. Johnson goes for the shot. He misses it. Kenst goes for the shot. He misses it. Fontaine tries to get it back, and he accidentally knocks it out.
That whole Colonials bench is just so ready for Kenst to put up his first points of this game. They keep getting up anytime he shoots it. And one of these has got to fall for Kenst at some point, you got to imagine.
You have to imagine, as Madelon gets his 2 points there. Draws it down to 6. 2-possession game here as we're drawing down to the last 2 minutes of this first half.
Certainly a more defensive battle, but that's not necessarily because of the defensive systems and more of just there's been a lot more missed shots than we saw in the previous action.
Yes, Charles he passes out to Johnson. Johnson for the 3. Off the rim.
He had a great look and just a little off.
As Goldsberry takes a deep 3. And that is nothing but net right there. As he got himself up to 10 here. And it is a 1-possession game with a minute and a half left in this first half. Fontaine for RMU with the ball. Coming down the court. Throws it out to Johnson. Johnson into Charles. And they're going to call a timeout. RMU.
1:22 to go. 1:22 to go in the half. A 3-point game. You got to imagine that the coach saw something in the defense there that he wants to try and exploit here. That's why the timeout was called.
Yeah, and you got to think about this too. You got to think about this game plan for this last minute and a half you have. RMU's got to think of something here. They got a 3-point lead, but you don't know how long that's going to last. And you've got to hope that on this timeout, you get some costly and greatly communication here to figure out a good game plan here. And if you're Xavier, it's only a 3-point deficit. It's much lower than it was in the first game. If you have a chance, you might be able to tie it up here at the half and maybe take the lead into this halftime. Much better look than they had in the first game.
Yeah, but if you are to do that, if you're the Musketeers, it starts with a defensive stop here off of this timeout, as it will still be the Colonials' ball when play resumes. Looks like they're just about ready to step back onto the court here. Trying to see who RMU's sending out. They've got 6 people in the huddle right now. I'm not sure which one's not going in. It looks like Kent's is coming back off.
And they're going to send Franklin in.
Yeah, Keith Franklin stepping back in. Hasn't seen a ton of action in this first half, but he saw a lot of them in the previous game. So it's good to see him back out on the floor here, probably taking a much-needed breather after putting in a lot of work in game 1.
Yeah, he dropped 12 points for RMU in the first game, so if you're RMU, you'd like to see that production again from him as he passes it out to Johnson. Johnson to Fontaine. Fontaine out to Franklin.
That was a long pass from Fontaine to find Franklin in the corner. And that's still going to be RMU's ball, I believe, as that was blocked out by Goldsberry. He's kind of been everywhere in this first half, Robert Goldsberry.
Yeah, he's been putting up the points. He's not afraid to run full court, too. So if you're RMU, you got to watch out for that, as putting the press on these other guys may just leave it wide open for him to just go full court. And next thing you know, that's 2 points for Xavier, as Charles did some fancy footwork, misses the layup. And it's a turnover to Kionga. Kionga's coming back on the court here. They got 44 seconds left, 40 seconds. Inside to number 10. Number 10 throws it out to Goldsberry. Goldsberry back into Kionga. Kionga loses it. Tries to get the layup. Block. Out to Goldsberry. Goldsberry going for the open 3. Off the rim. Recovered by Franklin.
That's a brutal go there for Roberts Goldsberry. Had a wide open 3 and just missed it. And looks like there's going to be an injury timeout as Mari Fontaine had a bit of a tough landing there. Colonials have had a couple of people go down on this side of the court. That's not what you want to see. Just Fontaine's another one of the big-name players on this squad.
Yeah, these floorboards have been unforgiving today to RMU players. We've seen multiple players go down with injuries, as he is now down, laboring something with his knees, I think. And Elijah Cross is over on the bench as well from the first game. He doesn't even have a shoe on anymore, so I doubt we'll see him.
It looks like Fontaine got up and is trying to evaluate how much weight he can put on that leg, and it doesn't seem to be a whole lot. Another brutal break for Fontaine.
Seems to be something with his knee. Cross, it appears to be his ankle. He's icing his ankle right now. He's all smiles, though, so it must not be too bad. Nothing too bad for him.
I think it might not have been of his leg. It might have been somewhere in between the two of them. I think that might be why Cross is chuckling a little bit. I think he might have had a little bit of Yambag Jones action.
Yeah, it appears so, as he is nursing it a little bit there, as Goodman is going to throw it in for Goldsberry. Out to number 10 for a wide open 3.
And drains it right at the half. 27-27 is going to be the score at halftime based off of that just before the buzzer 3 from Mandolin.
A clutch throw by him. You got to be happy if you're Xavier to be able to get back and tie it there. I wasn't sure if they were going to get any points there, and he ended up being wide open, an easy 3.
Well, we're going to go probably step away for a second here. As you've seen, the intermissions are pretty short between the halves and the end of games. So we'll probably be back in like 5-6 minutes, folks, and we'll catch you on the other side. Welcome back for the second half of Game 2. This will be our final 20-minute block of action today. For anyone just tuning in, RMU won today's game earlier, Game 1, 67-65, and a really tight battle. So far in this one for Game 2, it is tied at 27 entering the second half. Certainly a lower scoring game, Jordan, but definitely fun.
Yeah, definitely great, fun entertainment right now. two big players, a player from each team I'd say probably to watch for in this second half if you're just tuning in, is Goldsberry of RMU.
Goldsberry's on Xavier.
I'm sorry. I meant to say Xavier instead of RMU. That's a goof on me.
He might make a good addition, though, the way he's been rebounding.
Yeah, he's been great. He's got lots of rebounds, and he's got 10 points so far for them. On the RMU side, Chris Charles has been putting up 13 points so far for RMU as he is showing off for them.
So let's see, on the court right now for RMU, we've got Charles, Williams, Franklin, Scott Ford, and Bristol.
On Xavier, we've got Martin, Goldsberry, Kionga, Madelon, and
I think it's
Bielski.
Bielski.
Yeah. It's going to be out of bounds on RMU, and it's going to be Xavier ball as Goldsberry's going to throw it in. Looking for a pass. Wide open to Kionga. Kionga's going to get an easy layup.
That was a very slow developing inbound play, but when it came to execution, Kionga was right there with no one in front of him. Really nice little drawn up play there from the coach.
Yeah, nice moves by them to get those easy 2 points to take this lead. First points of the half. Franklin doing the salt shaker, faking out the passes here. He's going to throw a no-look pass to Charles. Charles with the open three. And they're going to call it out because it hit off the top of the rim.
Hits it with a little Elton Brand action right off the side of the backboard.
And Martin is going to inbound to Goldsberry of Xavier as they make their way back down. Leski out to Goldsberry, out to Martin. Martin's going to throw it back to Goldsberry into Kionga. Bielski taking the three. He bricks it. And RMU was just going to try and let it go out, but they decide to take it. And Bristol almost gets the and one as it bounces right off the rim and out.
Nice play there from Jaden Bristol to even get to the foul line there. Yeah, to the point you mentioned earlier, RMU was content letting that ball on the other side go out of bounds. Xavier tried keeping it in, so when they hit it off of an RMU player, they said, all right, cool, we'll just keep it in, take it down the floor, as that first shot there from Bristol's up and in.
Yeah, and if you're Xavier, Madelon was kind of making a smart play there. He was thinking, try to keep it in, and almost got lucky there as it bounced off of Charles. And if that would have went out, that would have been their ball again.
As Bristol makes his second of 2 free throws there, and once again the score is tied up.
As Goldsberry as Xavier has the ball after the inbound by Kionga, out to Martin, back to Goldsberry, over to Bielski, across the court to Martin for a three, and just off the rim and out. Goldsberry gets the rebound. Waits a second for a play to develop. Tries to make some moves, tries to juke him out here. He's going to go in, and he's just going to miss that layup after he snakes his way in there for it, and Franklin's going to get the rebound.
A very powerful rebound, really brought that down with authority.
And he's going to do it behind the back dribble, bring it in around the rim and in.
A nice little 2-play sequence there from Keith Franklin.
Nice little saucy move by him. Goldsberry just kind of lets it go. Once again, misses a layup, and you can see he's starting to get frustrated. Bristol comes in. It's going to be an easy layup for him. There was nobody there. Just a broke-down defense for Xavier. Number 10. And they're going to call a foul on Charles, and that's going to be 2 shots for Madelon as he hit him in the shoulder while he went for the shot.
Charles not only caught him in the shoulder, he also caught himself in the bleachers.
Yeah, not something you want to do. That can be very dangerous, as I've seen multiple times players fly into the bleachers and usually come out of them limping. As Madelon takes the first shot, and it bounces out and out. Yeah,
that's the only issue with the way this court's configured is that it doesn't really give a whole lot of room outside of the area to play. Those bleachers, I do know, though, are in the process of either being relocated or sold, so at least the big ones. The small ones should be sticking around.
That'd probably be good news for these players once they hear that.
Oh, you betcha. As Charles will take it in the corner, and it goes out off of Xavier hand. I believe that was Goldsberry.
Yeah, it was Goldsberry. Goldsberry did a great job with the block, and he was hoping to maybe pass it off the block to Bielski, and it just went out of bounds. Williams is going to take the inbound here. He's going to throw it across the court to Franklin. Franklin looking around for a player to pass here. He's going to pass it back to Scott Ford. Scott Ford throws it back to Franklin. Franklin for the three. Just short as he airs it. Goldsberry gets the ball. Bolesky gets an open layup. Almost blocked by Scott Ford. Bolesky gets it in for the two. Scott Ford with the ball now for RMU.
One thing I noticed during that last offensive possession for RMU is that Chris Charles and the coach, Taylor Williams, were having a pretty lengthy conversation while the play was happening. I got to imagine those two are working on something after a great rebound from DeJuan Williams, and he puts home the rebound.
Yeah, what a move. Bristol goes for that open three, and Williams able to get the rebound. And Goldsberry once again, full court play, goes up and makes the layup.
Goldsberry played a lot of game one, but you can see he still has a lot of energy in the tank here, still going down the court at a lot of pace.
Yeah, Bristol to Franklin here. Franklin kind of maybe thought about taking a shot there for a moment. He's going to take it in. Scott Ford tries to get the rebound. Bolesky fights it out of his hands. And just a tough pass. Bolesky ends up throwing it back in to Franklin for the turnover. Franklin throws it up. Maybe looking for the alley-oop to Williams there. Martin lost his glasses, so the refs is going to cause a stop to play there.
Couple of broken plays on both sides of the court. Both of them had a fast break opportunity that just dissolved because of bad passing.
Yeah, Bristol had an Xavier had an excellent chance to score down there on the other end and passed it to nobody and almost went out of bounds. They tried to recover it there and then threw it right back in to Franklin. Franklin tries to bring it back in, and Martin's glasses just fell off. He must have accidentally got bumped. Charles gets the little short layup here for two for RMU.
Yeah, nice clean-looking inbound play for the Colonials will extend it to a three-point lead. Still 15:46 on the clock, though. Plenty to go as that three from Goldsberry doesn't go.
And Bristol's getting trapped in the corner. He's going to try and pass it out. Oh, and Williams just loses it. Would have been a beautiful back pass for a dunk there.
That was a nice opportunity for DeJuan Williams after a great play from Bristol to get out of the corner and make a good pass while falling. And everyone on the bench is just kind of smiling about it because they know the opportunity was there, but just couldn't quite get it to go as Charles misses the three-pointer there.
Goldsberry gets the rebound there. I was kind of surprised they gave the ball to RMU there to begin with. Bolesky gets the easy layup. That definitely went out on RMU, but luckily for Xavier, they ended up missing the shot anyways and going down the court and getting the easy layup there.
Yeah, nothing too out of the sorts there as Bristol will pass it over to Keith Franklin.
Bristol thinking about taking the three, jukes him out. Franklin tries to pass it to Scott Ford, just a little too high out of his reach, and it goes out of bounds off the bleachers.
I think Franklin was assuming that Scott Ford would be in the corner, but he was kind of in that middle area and just sailed right over his head.
And Martin just going to take it almost easy to the hoop, tries to pass it out to Goodwin, then gets a little tip there from Scott Ford, and it goes out of bounds into the bleachers once again. And Xavier's going to call a timeout with 14:49 left in this game. RMU up 1.
So, with the timeout here, only about 5 minutes have passed here in this second half. 37-36, RMU with the slight lead. It's kind of more of the same from what we saw in the first half of just a lot of opportunities for both teams going by the wayside.
Yeah, lots of teams getting these open shots. Goldsberry missing some key wide open layups in a row there for Xavier. RMU missing some clutch threes. Turnovers have been an issue for both sides as the ball has been stripped away, bad passes out of reach. It's kind of been a little bit of a sloppy half for both teams here.
Honestly, I can't say I blame them. a lot of those guys have got to be running on the reserve energy in the tank at this point with how much they've already played today. Because we are now, let's see, yeah, the two games combined, about 65 minutes of basketball in.
Yeah, I can tell you what. After
Even
one
the pros
game,
only
I'd
play
probably be
48.
pretty gassed. So, not something that I could do.
Yeah.
And
Well, dude, I'm asthmatic. I'd be gassed just trying to get up the stairs here.
yeah, and some of these guys are still looking a little fresh here. Actually, Goldsberry, for example, from Xavier, even though he misses those few shots, he's still got enough energy to run a full court and even attempt those layups to begin with.
Yeah, he's had a very high and low second half here. There's been stages where like he's just grabbing every rebound, but there's also been a lot of missed shots that would definitely have given the Musketeers a bit more of a lead had he buried them.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, there he is with the ball as he feeds it over to Goodman for the three. Oh, and he gets it to go.
Goodman drains it, and they're going to take a 2-point lead here. Bristol of RMU with the ball here to try to answer, to tie it up or take the lead. Williams sets up a block. He's going to throw it back to Scott Ford. Scott Ford backs it up. Bristol gets the ball. Almost back to half court here. Williams going to try and throw another block. Out to Fontaine. Fontaine goes for the three. Bounces out. Williams get the rebound and the layup.
I tell
Short
you
jumper.
what, I may not have the best technical knowledge of basketball. I feel like it's a mistake to leave DeJuan Williams wide open in the paint like that, especially when a deep shot goes up.
There's been a lot of opportunities where RMU has, and Goldsberry just gets a beautiful three.
They gave him all the time in the world, and he said, all right, you're going to give me this much time and space. It'd be a shame not to take it, and just buries the three.
Yeah, and that'll put him at 15 points in this game as he has become quite the factor for them. Bristol thought about taking the three. It goes out to Williams, back to Bristol. Bristol's going to bring it in. Pass it back out to Franklin. Franklin across. The shot by Fontaine, and that one goes in.
Wow, and that was from well behind the mark there. I mean, that's got to have been at least an extra 5 feet behind the three-point line, you think?
Yeah, that was pretty far back there for a shot. Most of the shots I've seen from that distance, I don't even, maybe one in these last two games that teams have made from that distance have gone in.
Yeah, I think maybe that Mandolin one on the Mandolin one on the far side for Xavier back in game one might have been the only comparable.
Another deep one by Goodwin. Bounces off the rim out to Bileski. He's going to throw it in. He's going to throw it in to Eusebi, and he just bricks it there.
We've not seen a whole lot of Xavier Eusebi in this second game here after the amount of time he was on the court in game one.
No, and that seemed kind of like I might as well just try and throw it up move by Fontaine, and they just leave the court wide open for once again for Goldsberry to just go down and assert his authority and just get an easy layup.
He's got at least the last 5 points for Xavier. That might be a longer streak. I'm thinking with that three that he had and then the layup.
Well, I know Goodman got, probably about 5, because Goodman got the one right before that. And an easy layup for Williams there once again.
Yeah, I believe that's the, what do they call it, the Euro step, right? A beautiful cut inside there, splitting the defense, and then just lays it in. Tie game at 44 with less than 12 to play.
Goldsberry's got the ball. He passes out to Bileski, and he takes the deep shot. Or I'm sorry, that was Madelon who went for the shot.
Regardless of who shot it, it didn't go in, and here comes Bristol the other way. You can tell not only are the players starting to get tired, you can start to tell that the casters are starting to get a little tired up here too in the booth.
Fontaine took another deep three, couldn't connect it with it that time. Goldsberry going. And Eusebi gets the easy layoff off the pass by Goldsberry. Picking up his first points of the half here. Fontaine with the ball again for RMU off to Bristol.
Been a very back and forth second half so far. Neither team really pulling away from each other.
He passes to Franklin. Franklin almost mishandles it. And they're going to call a foul on Bileski. Franklin gets up here and seems okay.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of a bang-bang play there. I don't think anyone's really hurt. I think it's more mental than anything else. Franklin clearly not annoyed with the way the Xavier player kind of ran in there. But
yeah.
Looks like he's going to get coming off. I was thinking he might have been subbing off, but he's just going out there for the inbound.
And number 2 came off, and he's hyping up the bench right now for them as he switches out with Alex Shirker, who's now in for Xavier. RMU with the inbound to Bristol. Bristol throws out to Fontaine. Back to Bristol. Over to Franklin. Franklin holding. He takes the alley-oop, I guess you could call that.
Pretty close to it. It was a bit of a line drive pass toward the corner of the backboard from Keith Franklin, and Williams was there to put it home on the lay-in. Nice little play there. You got to wonder if that was designed. I have to think it would be.
Yeah, definitely, because that original shot was not going to go anywhere near that hoop. And Franklin throws it up, and a nice 3 to give RMU the lead now, as they've been trying to battle back into this for a while. Finally getting some momentum here.
Gives a high five to a fan on his way back down the court as well.
Goodman misses the shot. He feeds out to Goldsberry. Eusebi takes the shot, and he drills it, and once again, we are tied.
Man, these guys are just going shot for shot right now. Neither team able to get a bit of breathing room from each other.
No, as we just hit the 10-minute mark in this half, it is a tight one. Back out to Fontaine to Scott Ford. Scott Ford's going to take it himself to the hoop, and he gets the layup.
Scott Ford's had a really good game down low. A lot of his points have been coming right near the net.
And number 13, Shirker, didn't even see that coming. He barely even saw it to begin with. It almost went off his back.
Yeah, but either way, Bristol takes it away from him, and now the Colonials are on the attack once again.
Out to Franklin, back to Bristol. Bristol's going to take it in himself. Almost gets it. Bristol just not tall enough to get over Shirker there. Shirker gets the rebound. Goldsberry's going to take it, and that's going to be poked out by Scott Ford.
Bristol nearly had those legs to bounce right off the floor, though. He nearly went up and over them to grab it.
Yeah, he really got some height there. Goldsberry's going to throw it in here. He's got a wide open Shirker. He's going to throw it over to Madelon. Madelon goes up for the layup just over the net. Fontaine gets the rebound. He throws it to Bristol. Bristol stops and thinks about it. Spins around a little bit. He's going to bring it in. Goes for the layup. Just misses it. Williams tries to get it. Not able to get to it. Goldsberry gets it. 13's wide open for the shot. Bricks it off the hoop. Madelon goes in for the layup. And it bounces in, and it's a tie game once again.
The Musketeers coach was looking for the and one. They don't get it, but they do get the 2 points off the lay-in.
Fontaine here to Franklin. It's tied. RMU looking for the lead in this waning clock. Back to Franklin. Franklin's going to bring it in. He's going to do the layup. Short shot and in.
Got the shooter's roll, caught the front of the rim, and got a generous bounce.
Goldsberry's going to go in and just do it himself once again. Another 2.
You could see why he was the conference's player of the week last week. When everyone else seemed to start slowing down a little bit, it seems like he's only speeding up.
Yeah, he's pretty hot right now. He had 10 points in the first, and he's got 9 here. He's probably going to surpass his first half points here and probably get over 20. As it goes to Fontaine, back to Scott Ford. Out to Franklin. Franklin's going to pass to Scott Ford. He's going to take the 3. And just off the front of the rim, Goodman gets the rebound. Goldsberry's going to take the ball off the pass from Goodman. Bring it into the RMU defensive zone here and wait for something to set up. He's going to take the 3 and just bricks it. And Fontaine gets another rebound as he lets it go to Bristol.
This is starting to feel like a high-speed chess match, don't you think? Both teams kind of, they have an idea of what each other's going to do, but we're kind of reaching that end game now where you're like, all right, what opportunities can we generate that are actually going to execute?
And Franklin's going to go for the 3, and he just misses it, and Goldsberry's going to take the ball, and Franklin's going to get called on that grab. Not something you want to do right now. Is that might be only your second foul of this half.
Yeah, it's been a pretty clean second half in that respect.
Yeah, there hasn't been very many fouls on either side, only 2 apiece.
Honestly, I honestly don't think that was a bad foul to take if I'm Keith Franklin there, because Goldsberry was coming down with a head of steam, and it would have been an odd man rush the other way. So now that RMU has an opportunity to set up their defense with still a lot of fouls to give before the 1-on-1, I don't think that was the worst time for that.
No. And looks like Charles just poked it out of his hands. And then Franklin's going to take it himself. He misses it. Franklin pokes it loose. Charles gets it and gets the easy short shot jumper.
I'm still trying to figure out how that, when Charles poked that one away, or sorry, when Franklin poked that away, how that ball ended up in Charles's hands. It looked like it went through the Xavier player's legs.
Yeah. And Goodman had another wide open three, just misses it. RMU gets the rebound here as Bristol comes back down the court to try and build on this 2-point lead they've just gotten themselves. Fontaine to Bristol. Bristol's going to bring it in himself. He tries to pass it to Scott Ford, just out of his hands.
Yeah, I don't, from that angle, I don't know if Scott Ford was fully expecting Bristol to make that dish over. And when he realized it was coming, it was just a fraction of a second too late to react.
Yeah, as Xavier pulls off a bad pass. And it looked like Charles was just trying to throw it off a Xavier player and gain possession.
There was no one from the Colonials on that half of the court, but he said, hey, we'll give it a shot. And he was pretty close. I'll give him that.
Yeah, Madelon had to play a little bit of dodgeball there. Fontaine knocked it loose of Goldsberry. Goldsberry gets the ball back somehow and gets the layup. And we are tied again at 55.
And Robert Goldsberry now up over 20 points for the Musketeers. He's having himself a great game.
He really is, and he's got to keep this great game going for them if they want to have a chance here, as it is tight. Bristol with the ball. He passes out to Franklin. Franklin's going to bring it in. He's going to pass it across to Scott Ford. Scott Ford's going to juke him out. Pass it off to Bristol. Bristol's going to take a three.
Oh, and
it
gets it to go. What a great shot from Jaden Bristol.
Beautiful shot right there. A shot you need to make, as Xavier's been getting a lot of 2-point plays here and not threes, so this could be an ideal situation for RMU to finally get a little something here. If they can force Xavier just for the 2, if not a missed shot. It goes out to Goldsberry.
The shirker down to Mandolin.
And that's going to be a foul on number 6, I believe, for RMU.
Yeah, that's Chris Charles. He got a whole lot of arm when Mandolin went up for that layup.
This may work out in their favor, though, as free throws has been an issue for both sides today. Number 10, Madelon, is going for his first throw here of 2 to try to draw it within a shorter distance, and he misses the first one.
I know we had talked earlier about RMU's struggles at the free throw line. The more I think about it, the Musketeers haven't been much better.
No, it's been a tough game, tough sledding today for both of these teams on the free throw line. As Madelon sinks the second one and makes it a 2-point game. If you're RMU, you like where you're at right now. If you score here, you can make it a 2-possession game under 5 minutes in what's been a very low-scoring, close game. Could help you put this away, and hopefully they're going to call it on Xavier's 13. That's Shirker.
Yep. Alex Shirker drawing the foul there. And let's see, is he getting subbed off? No, that's going to be Goodman that's getting subbed off for, I believe that's Jackson Geffert.
Yep, that's Jackson Geffert as he's coming in for his second shift of this game. RMU's going to inbound it to Bristol. Bristol's going to pass it off to Fontaine. Scott Ford's going to move inside the paint here. I think he was looking for a pass from Bristol. Bristol's going to bring it in. He's going to pass it out to Charles. Charles is going to bring it inside the paint, go for the layup. Just misses it. Scott Ford tries to get the rebound. Goldsberry takes the ball. He's going back to the other side of the court. Bristol's trying to catch him. An easy pass to Madelon. Madelon misses the layup. Bristol gets the rebound, and they're going to call a foul on Goldsberry.
Yeah, he kind of got all up in the space of Jaden Bristol when he went to go collect that ball on the rebound. Not really even much he could have done about that. It's just two people going for it, and Bristol was in the better position when that thing came out. As we are getting a timeout called here by, I believe, the Musketeers with 4:16 to play in the second half. A 2-point game, just like how game 1 ended.
And you're going to like this high energy that just happened on these plays. These guys were ready to go. Goldsberry knew the opportunity they had. They had RMU down here, stuck down here, and they had a wide open lane to go and take it. And they took it, and they just missed the shot. Madelon just misses the shot after a great pass from Goldsberry. That would have made it a tie game once again.
One thing I'm seeing here, Elijah Cross is up and moving on the Colonials bench. Wonder if we're going to see him in for crunch time of this one.
I think we might. Progressively throughout this game,
Solomon's also up off the bench here, but that also might just be for the sake of the huddle. But we'll have to see who they come in.
He's got a ball in his hand. RMU might be thinking, we rest Solomon and Cross this entire game and we bring him in crunch time. I saw Cross down here nursing it. They iced his ankle and he was stretching it and getting his legs worked back in. He was doing some workouts, trying to get his legs warmed up. I think he's going to come back in on this game.
So let's see. In for the Musketeers right now, it's Gepfert, Jones, Goldsberry, Mandolin, and Shirker. Scott Ford, Fontaine, Bristol, Keith Franklin, and Chris Charles in for the Colonials. So no Cross or Solomon yet, although it does seem like it's a possibility.
You never know. If this game goes into OT, you might have to bring Cross and Solomon back in. Bristol's got the ball for RMU. They're up 2. You hope to score here. Make it 2 possessions once again. It's back and forth to Bristol. Bristol's going to take it in. He's going to take it in for himself.
And
one. They're going to call a block on Shirker there. Bristol's going to get the 2.
Shirker can't believe it, but the Colonials bench is fired up as Jaden Bristol drove it to the paint, got the contact, and the bucket.
And this could really put things out of hand for Xavier. This would be a 5-point game if Bristol were to get this here.
I wouldn't call it out of – there's still plenty of time, but this is the biggest lead either team has seen, I think, the entire second half, and it's only 5 points.
Yeah, true, it is only 5 points. I guess that is only 2 possessions. And with how we've seen these quick turnarounds each time, Xavier could easily turn this around. There is 4 minutes left.
Let's see. It looks like DeJuan Williams has subbed back in for the Colonials. It looks like Keith Franklin taking a bit of a breather here.
It looks like Martin's come back in as well for Xavier. Goldsberry with the ball. He's going to take the 3, and he drains it nothing but net.
You want to see a guy who's fired, not just fired up, but also locked in right now. Robert Goldsberry for the Musketeers. I feel like outside of those layups he missed early in the second, he's been money since.
Yeah. If you get rid of those 2 back-to-back misses on layups, he's been great for them so far. Fontaine was looking for the foul. Goldsberry's got the ball back, and he just gets stripped by Charles, and they're going to give it to Xavier. So the coach is barking them a little bit of pep orders here.
He's trying to keep them out of the paint because that's where they've been getting killed here in the past few minutes.
As Madelon gets the ball here, he's going to take the shot, and he airs it. Goldsberry gets the rebound, and they're going to call a foul on Mari Fontaine for RMU.
Yeah, that's a tough break there. They were going after the rebound from the skyhook and just couldn't. They came together, and it looks like who was that who went down? Xavier who went down?
No, Goldsberry. It looks like Goldsberry may have tweaked something a little bit. He did a little bit of knee stretches there, his left leg.
Well, for the
he seems to be all right now.
You'd hope that he's still feeling all right as that shot's off the rim and out. They fire it back out to him, drop it back to Mandolin.
Madelon drains it, and that is a lead for Xavier. As the Xavier crowd is getting excited here for this.
Yeah,
Bristol
they
with the
traveled
ball.
Pretty well out here today.
Yeah, traveling from Ohio to come out here. Bristol with the pass from Fontaine. Bristol barking corridors here, sending it out to Fontaine. Fontaine for the 3. Just misses it. Scott Ford gets the rebound. He's going to go for the layup. Just misses it.
Still loose.
And they're going to call
on
a foul.
Scott Ford.
That's surprising right there. I didn't think there should have been a foul in general. Goldsberry dove down for the ball. That was just both of them fighting for it. Charles came with the ball. That would have been an easy layup.
And
RMU coach is not happy right now with that.
Coach Taylor Williams not thrilled with that call, but I can't say I blame him. That was about as much 50-50 as you can get, so I'm kind of surprised that's the way the refs went with it. But
yeah, there was nobody even had it. Whenever they both went down, the ball rolled away. Should have still been live. But there's not much you can do once the refs make their decision. Here we are. And it's going to be Xavier ball. Goldsberry, the king of Xavier, coming down here.
You're calling him the head musketeer over there.
Oh, yeah.
He puts up the shot and gets it to go.
Drains the three.
Unbelievable. That was really tight defense, too, from Marquise Scott Ford, and Goldsberry just went right over him.
And Goldsberry's got himself to 27 here. Seeing flashes of the Xavier offense that we've been hearing rumors about. And that's tipped by Goldsberry, but recovered Franklin. And they're going to call a foul.
I think that was on
Xavier. I think it was number 5.
Would be Goldsberry.
And they're going to take Williams out, and they're going to bring Franklin in. RMU looking to cut this down to a one-possession game. Charles passes it out to Bristol. Bristol's going to take the open three, and he drains it.
A big-time shot from Jaden Bristol. I feel like if anyone from the Colonials has been locked in from three-point or further today, it's been him.
Yeah, he's been doing great. You saw Scott Ford get his hand in there on the ball of Goldsberry, and that just threw off his angle, and he missed that shot right off the rim. Bristol's got the ball. Another open three. He bricks it. Scott Ford recovers it right between the legs.
What a keep.
Of Madelon. Franklin going up for the 2. He misses it. And Xavier somehow ends up with the ball. Martin gains possession, passes it off to Goldsberry. RMU's going to play high pressure right now. Martin's got a wide open shot here. Goldsberry with the ball from Martin as Franklin is pressuring him.
Less than a minute to go, less than 45 to go.
And they're going to call a foul on RMU. They cannot believe it. They're going to call a reach in on him.
I'd argue that was about 95% ball.
Yeah. I don't know what more you can do whenever you reach in to get the ball and the Xavier player just kind of runs into your arm on that.
That's a tough break. Jaden Bristol nearly with a big-time steal, but 43 seconds to play, about 42.8 on the stadium clock.
And Martin's going to throw it in for Xavier on what could be the play of the game here for Xavier.
Doesn't look like Bristol's going to give him much of any room.
No. And it's back to Goldsberry. Goldsberry's going to take it. He's going to pass it open to Eusebi. Eusebi's going to drop it.
Oh, Fontaine's down.
Fontaine's down. He's cramping. And they're going to call the play dead with an injury. And Xavier's bench is flabbergasted as that was a wide open shot there for Martin, and it just stops because of injury.
That's very frustrating, I'd imagine, for the Musketeers. Having an open chance that would have really put this game close to out of reach, as it would have been a 4-point game with 30 seconds left. But Fontaine was down towards center court talking with the trainer and the coach right now.
And Fontaine's got to be hurting because he's biting the jersey right now, holding it in.
So we're going to elect to not put him on camera. That's just not very respectful, we feel. But right now he is getting medical attention here toward the center of the court. We'll let you know how that goes in a second here. 1-point game, 30 seconds to go. I imagine it's going to probably be Xavier ball when play resumes.
And Fontaine is having some trouble down here. Let's take a quick look at stats here as they're helping Fontaine down on the court. The leader, Goldsberry for Xavier, has put up 27 points so far in this game. He's been insane. And Madelon for them has been just as good. putting up 15.
Those have been the big two for the Musketeers, getting the majority of their points, 42 of their 65. On the Colonial side, we've seen a really big game today from Jaden Bristol.
Yeah, Jaden Bristol. He only had 3 in the first half, but he's gotten 13 so far. He's up to 16. And Chris Charles is also at 16 as well, as the Colonials are looking to try and get the lead back here. The coach was able to help Fontaine off the court. He's still in a little pain here. He gets out the massage gun here.
He's going to try and loosen that up a bit. Did not put much weight on it, but doesn't seem to be in as much pain as he was when he initially went down, which is an encouraging sign.
Yeah, it's always good to see a player is able to at least get off the court with some assistance here and not able to call in the medical staff for this one, as Martin had to take a deep inbound as RMU is putting massive pressure.
And speaking of massive pressure, I don't know if you saw who was the one applying that pressure.
I did. Elijah Cross is back in for crunch time. He poked it away and almost got the turnover. The ball just rolls out of bounds.
It's his first action of the game, and it's coming in the final 30 seconds. Maybe a bit of fresh legs might provide a spark here.
And Eusebi's got to inbound the ball. They have to call a timeout as RMU has too much pressure. They don't want to get the violation for not having the ball thrown in time.
That was close. Elijah Cross gave Goldsberry zero room to operate, and the moment Eusebi realized he might not be able to get that in time, called the timeout. 24.3 to play now. I know I used the analogy a bit earlier of a chess game. Set plays like this, very much give it that feel.
Yeah, definitely. When it's a one-point game, less than 30 seconds to go, and you're able to force a team to call a timeout on an inbound throw, that just shows how great your defensive pressure has been right now.
And they're going to need to probably do it again, because if they're not careful with the way the clock's sitting now, at best, they might only get one more opportunity with the ball. So they want to make sure they can keep it a one-point game.
And if you're RMU, if they're going to score, you got to make sure it's only a 2, because you're not going to have time to get 2 possessions out of this. So if they're out there outside the line, you got to make sure you block them as hard as possible and make them, if they want points, make them go to the hoop. Do not let them take these long shots.
Yeah, trying to walk the fine line between playing tight and not fouling, because it's not in that desperate a situation yet with it only being a one-point game.
And they barely get it into Martin. RMU turns it over.
There's still a scramble for it.
I don't understand what this ref is doing. He calls another foul on RMU. The play was live. They force a turnover. They get the ball on the court, and the ref calls a penalty.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
They're going to call that as a reach-in on Elijah Cross, and, you know, I'm usually pretty forgiving of the refs. I know they have a very tough job, but when a game is this close, it's certainly tough.
And Goldsberry's going to go to the line here. You got to hope if you're RMU, he misses at least one of these and keeps it 2 points. Goes for the first one. It's up, and it bricks it, and he misses it, and RMU gets the ball here.
Feeds it to Cross.
Out to Cross. Cross is going to bring it in. He's going to go for the layup. He's going to get fouled.
They're
going to call travel on RMU's Elijah Cross. 13.1 seconds left. If you're RMU, it is foul time.
1 point game, 13 seconds to go. The full court press is on. This is about to get interesting. Crowd's loud as it's been all day.
And they have to call it. And they're going to call a foul on 22.
That's murky.
Scott Ford for the hold.
They're going to the line here.
And he's
Interesting.
got
And
2.
I wonder, I don't know if that was intentional, but that might be a way to burn absolutely no time. Is not even let them inbound it before, you know, you start.
It's a great play, but RMU pretty much had them shut down for any inbounds at all. And he misses. And RMU's going to call a timeout with 11.5 seconds left. It's a 1 point game. Bolesky can't believe he missed it.
That is back-to-back free throw attempts for the Musketeers that would have helped put this game farther out of reach that they've missed. It's what we've been talking about all day. You got to convert on the free ones.
And if you're RMU, you don't want to go to the line. You do not want to go to the line for this. You want to score the points because you've seen all game that both teams have struggled on either end of the court to get free throws. So you want to get into the paint, and hopefully you get it in there and you get the and one, or you just get to 2 points and clock runs out and sayonara Xavier, and you send them home packing. And if you're Xavier, you just want to shut them down. And
yeah. It all comes down to this, really. I'd imagine RMU is going to try and hold it for the last 11 and a half and put it up with next to no time on the clock. You have the ability probably to end it right here, but, it's a double-edged sword because if you miss, that's it.
I'm going to say Franklin or Charles is probably going to be the target here.
They've got Scott Ford, Fontaine, Bristol, Keith Franklin, and Charles on the court. Wait, they have
Charles,
one too many.
Franklin, Bristol, Fontaine, and Scott Ford are out here for RMU. Charles is going to throw it into Bristol. They have got to move quick. They have 10 seconds here. Franklin throws the block. He's just going to bring it in himself. He throws it out. Up for the three.
Wow.
And that's the game.
Back-to-back thrillers here at the North Athletic Complex. Xavier holds on to win 65-64 in this one after just falling on the wrong end of the close one in Game 1 when RMU won 67-65. We couldn't have gotten treated the two better games here today, Jordan.
No, these games have been great. Two close games. Xavier came out on the wrong end of the first one, and RMU in the second game. And for your RMU, you're frustrated with the split, but you've got to be more frustrated with the fact that two of your key players, two of your big players, Fontaine and Cross, were both roughed up, and it seems like Fontaine could be in worse shape than Cross. Fontaine was shook up there on the last play, and he is in some pain.
Yeah.
Hopefully both of these guys are feeling great for their series next week.
I have to imagine for Fontaine it's probably a bit of both physical and probably mental, just because, that is a heartbreaking way to lose a game. RMU had the opportunity. They had the three from deep when Bristol kicked it back out. Just not meant to be on this one. With the series split, RMU will improve to 7-3 in conference play. Xavier 6-4. So RMU will hold their position in the standings. But both teams, I have a feeling, will be a little disappointed because they probably both could have walked away with a bit more if just a couple bounces went one way or the other.
Yeah, this could have been a sweep for either one of these teams. So close to games. Those little crucial misses, free throws, where I say probably the biggest issue today for both teams, as they both struggled from the line to get anything going. The stars for these games, first game for RMU, I'd have to give it to Solomon Jr. Solomon Jr. put up 20 points for them in their win. And in the second game for Xavier, it's got to go to Goldsberry. Yeah. Goldsberry put up 27 points for them. They scored 65, and he put up 27. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely insane. He got almost half of their points.
So, if you were the NCBBA and you're looking at this game or these sets of games, you have anyone who might stand out as a potential player of the week candidate from either team?
From either team, I'd say probably the biggest name is Goldsberry. Goldsberry was in both of those games. He was putting up points in both of them. He had double digits in both games, 10 and 20. So many rebounds, so many massive plays. He had the ball in almost every drive. He was leading them. I think there's a reason why he was the player of the week last week.
Yeah.
There's a potential for him to make a push for possibly maybe player of the month or player of the year, depending on if he keeps this up and keeps these points going.
Overall, I got to say, a pretty gutsy performance from RMU in Game 2. I know they were down a couple of starters, but still put on a very impressive showing. A couple guys who we don't see normally light up the scoreboard really had a solid day in Game 2. for RMU. Marquise Scott Ford had a lot of points early. Jaden Bristol with a couple of big threes down the stretch. Jordan, next week, the Colonials will be hosting Ohio State, who's currently ranked 15th in the country. Should be a fun one. Do you think RMU is going to put on a good show there as well?
Oh, I think RMU is going to put on a great show. I don't think Ohio State's going to come out of this undefeated in the conference anymore. It may be one, it may be both, but RMU is going to pick up one of them. Whichever one it is, we'll have to wait and see.
So, with that being said, that's just about going to do it for our coverage here of men's club basketball from the North Athletic Complex. I've been your play-by-play man, Alexander Gagnon, alongside Jordan Wirtz. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.